to get ready to introduce a good friend of mine that I've known now for quite some time. So Jay, if you're out there and you can hear me, unmute yourself and take your camera, bring your camera back on. I just want to share what an incredible person this guy is. He's an absolute pleasure to chat with, an absolute inspiration for myself. The perspective that he gives me, the challenges that Jay faces on a regular basis is mind-blowing for me. And I respect everything that he's doing, everything that he wants to do, and everything he's about to do with his life, his mission, and his vibe, his energy, and everything that he brings to the table. Jason Beard is a spiritual healer. He's awakening and aligning your inner works. Intuitive guide and enlightenment coach. This guy can give you a perspective that you have never, ever seen or heard before. The guidance and the virtual conscious reality checks that you can get with Jay is just mind-blowing. His energy, his spirit, his heart. He's always trying to help. He's always trying to give back. And you know what I've watched over the last year is how many people still try to burn him when he's trying to help them. And it shows the character of who he truly is and why I wanted him on my platform to share his comeback story, to share his story of how he's releasing his shackles. Jay, welcome to Release the Shackles. The stage is all yours, my friend.
Can you see me?
I can hear you and see you. Yep.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that warm welcome. It is a pleasure for me to be here to speak with everyone today because I do have a lot that I would love to say and I would love to convey to all of you. So thank you for joining at this time. I am grateful that all of you have, come and you're showing up for your life. That is, it really fills my heart to know that people want to change their lives and move forward in the ways that we were meant to, because we were all born into this reality for different reasons as far as, paths, passions and destinies. But we all came here together at this time, during this time, so that we could be here when it was time for this earth to be reshaped and reformed into the way it shall be within the near future. And all of the children that are here with us now, we are here to be responsible for them and the torch that they're going to continue to carry, that, we're going to leave them with as we pass on and move on to the next life, and the next life, and the next life. They'll be here doing their work as we have been here to do ours. However, I will give you the intro to who I am. My name is Jason Beard. I'm here from Irwin, North Carolina right now. I'm originally from Johnson City, Tennessee. And I've been staying here in North Carolina for the last 5 years. But how this comes for me is I went through a lot in my childhood, as I'm sure most of you have, and I was the child who just was, different from everybody. And for most of my childhood life, I was always trying to find my place in the world and actually, fit in with everybody else, and just wanted to be like everybody else and just wanted to be a part of what was going on with everybody as a whole. But for some reason, I always felt disconnected and lost, and I didn't really have an interest for all or any of the things that anyone my age was interested in. But I was very interested in, information and knowing things and figuring out how things work. That was like the one thing that I was always drawn to throughout my whole entire, childhood. And then as I got older, as I went through going to school and things of that nature, I learned things, but there was nothing about school that led me to uh, wanting to work some type of 9 to 5 that I felt like that was for me. And I wanted to do that, I guess, for the rest of my life and make money this way and, contribute whatever energy I had to the world. So it came to when I was probably about somewhere in my 20s, where once I wasn't in school anymore and I didn't have a career path, picked out for me, or there wasn't anything that I was really truly interested in as far as career was concerned. So I was always trying to find other ways that I would be able to, make money and build something that I could say, yeah, I did that, or something that I could, pass on to my kids that, I could say that I did, that I was about, that I was into. However, it still took me uh, many more years after that to actually find uh, something that I actually wanted to do, something that I was actually interested in. And just to let you know, like along this whole journey, when I was basically trying to discover myself and figure out who I am, I was pushed into situations and circumstances that led me to thinking even more like maybe I'm not from here. Maybe I was just put here and lied to, and just it's all a joke. It's not real. And one day I'm just going to wake up from the dream, is how it seemed to me. So without having someone that I could turn to and ask questions and get the right answers, I went through, religion. I was very into uh, Christian religion. That's kind of, what I was raised into, the different settings for Christianity. And I learned a lot about uh, belief systems and things of that nature that led me to, wanting more information. And then there was just being around people, not in the medical field necessarily, but being around people who were, experiencing different pains and different illnesses and ailments. And I was trying to figure out how could this be connected to um, all the things that we know and see and love, like as it is. So once I kind of found a little bit of spark and a little bit of interest in that area, I still didn't have like a career that said this is the job for you. So I went back in and I let all that go, and I decided to, try to be a family man in a relationship and work the 9 to 5 and build up, the dream life and have the big house and the cars and do all of these kind of things. And in the midst of me doing that, what I had to go through was I ended up losing the sight in my right eye first. And once I lost sight in my right eye, all I had was my left eye. And I sat back and I was like, well, maybe I'm not going to be able to do this dream life thing and continue on with the path that I really chose for myself. So I sat back, waited probably about 2 years trying to uh, get a disability case won, and nothing was happening. So I was like, well, I don't want to sit around and wait. I'm not going to do that. So I jumped back into the work world. I went to working and I started doing the thing again. So I was back in the relationship. I had my own house, had a car and everything in my house, and everything was beautiful, just the way that I wanted it to be. And in an instant, one day I got a phone call. My house was on fire, and it was gone just like that. And at that point, I was thinking, with my regular, I can just bounce back and it's gonna be no problem because I'm a good person. I got a good heart. God will help me out. And in less than 3 months, I did exactly that. and got back into a space, got out of that house fire. You know, nobody was hurt, nobody was home. Even though I lost everything in that fire, there was nothing to salvage. We got back in our space and we had more uh, this time than we had before. And I was like, yeah, this is exactly how it's supposed to be. So, you know, I'm living my life and doing my thing and working job and everything's going great. And then about 2 or 3 months later, I get that phone call again and whoosh, everything is gone. So at this point, I'm really starting to go back to thinking about my life the same way that I was in my 20s, where I was like, maybe life is not for me. Maybe doing whatever I'm trying to do is just not for me. So I ended up ending the relationship. And at this point in time, we were uh, being hit with the pandemic. I believe that it was the first time that we ever heard anything about that. And I was at my, you know, wit's end and I was giving up. And I was like, you know what? If this is for me, what I want to do right now, if this is, if I'm supposed to be some type of healer, because I, I came to the conclusion at this point that maybe I could be some type of healer, some type of hope for people. But the only way I was willing to go into that after everything that happened is if I was to be able to survive this pandemic, survive this virus, I will believe it. I will trust it with everything in me. So I prayed for it. I know that sounds crazy because most of us are out here trying to either vaccinate or, you know, avoid it, wear a mask, whatever. But I literally prayed for it. Please give it to me because I believe if I could survive that, I could survive anything. And not even a whole week later, I got it. Once I got it, I got myself up the next day. I walked to the hospital myself, checked in, I got tested, and walked back because I knew nobody would want to give me a ride knowing what I had going on. So after that, I got my test scores. It was positive. In 3 days' time, I did what I knew to do, what I had learned to do as a healer and a somewhat of a herbalist to heal myself. I did exactly that in 3 days' time. I was fine, no medicine, no anything. After that, I said, I know what my life path is. I know what it is that I want to do. I want to help people overcome fears. I want to help people learn that health is wealth and knowledge is the new money. Because those were the three things that motivated me after that happened. So ever since then, I've been looking into things that have anything to do with healing, health, and wealth, and learning all that I can, like soaking up everything like a little sponge until I had enough to give back. Since then, I have been really connecting with people and giving back the ways that I can. And I picked up, uh, I want to say, a way to use what I'm going to just refer to as a psychic ability, to where I started to notice when I would connect with people that I could feel what was going on with them without them telling me anything. It was like I was kind of like receiving information. So at that point, I was like, okay, it's really meant for me to be really trying to help people and understand what is going on in the world. So now we're looking at pandemic 2.0 and me trying to change my life in the midst of all this. And in, let's see, I want to say maybe in the first half of it, I came up and I learned a lot of things about my own self that I didn't know. I found out the way that the way that life actually is, as opposed to the way that we believe that it is totally different. And then there was a time where I discovered I was very clairaudient, something like what you would know to be like a psychic medium. So I began to hear different tones and sounds like randomly. And I didn't understand what it was at first, but over time, through meditation, I learned to kind of decipher the information. And it would only come out to where if I was having a conversation with someone, um, things that I didn't know that I knew, I just somehow knew. I somehow knew them. So after this, it only occurred to me that the only thing that I needed to be focused on, because it seemed like before this part of my life, everything that I tried to do or everything that I tried to build up just crashed and burned and was taken from me. So at this part, now I'm saying, okay, my life needs to go in a different direction, because now it's not even just the things that I can do that is the fascination. It's the impact that I seem to have on the people that I connect with on a much deeper level. So I need you to know this about yourselves, just like I'm saying about me, because I'm not saying anything is different about me or special about me that is different or special about y'all, because I've learned that all of us have special gifts that we are born with simply by knowing who you are. You can develop uh, your energy to where you can do things that you don't know that you can do yet, but some of them you're already doing. So if it comes to you that, saying you'd like to explore this, I can definitely help you with that. But to get back to the story, it came out to where um, there were a lot of people who didn't actually uh, believe in some of the things that I was saying, or they didn't understand how was I able to do the things that I could do, and they couldn't do them too. So I had um, a lot of doubt and disbelief, a lot of jealousy come at me in so many different ways, and I only wanted to understand people, and I only had two things that would always take me back a few steps. And one was just being misunderstood, same as I was being misunderstood when I was a child, and not feeling a part of, not belonging to the group as a whole, and everybody seeing, eye to eye on the same level of like, this is what we are going to do together. So for me, to you, to help all of you out right now that you know my story, you know something about me, I want to give you what my challenge would be if it is that you are trying to reach a place in your life that is enlightening for you. And I'm going to give you this is the easiest way that I know, because I've been using this method myself. And it is to ask yourself just one question for 365 days. If you will do this for 365 days, you will reach enlightenment in your life. And that is just to ask yourself, what would a person who loves themselves do? That one question every day for whatever decision that you're making, whatever it is that you're trying to do, or make a decision about, or somewhere you want to go, whatever it is that you want to do. If you ask yourself that question all day, every day, what would a person who loves themselves do? You will become more and more enlightened. You will become more and more yourself, and you will release so many of the negative ways that you picked up along the way, and you will not have a grip on your life force that is powered by your ego or tricked by your conscience. Okay, you being yourself is what this is about. You living your life and being yourself is what this is all about. So if you ask yourself that one question every day, I guarantee you will reach enlightenment. Now, if there is how can I say, if there is a question that you may have about uh, the energy of the day, I would like to speak on a little bit of that for you right now, because some of you, I can kind of feel your energy. It's a little heavy. And there's a lot about emotions. Yes, there's a lot about heavy emotions that we are experiencing right now. And a lot of you just need to uh, take the time to stand your ground and not let whatever is trying to come against you or whatever is trying to steer you away or distract you from the thing that you know you truly desire. Do not let that distract you from that. Stand your ground, because you should know if you don't stand for something, you will fall for anything. So standing for something, standing in your power, standing on your emotions and how you really feel about things, and expressing yourself, and not having no holdback for the way that you express or how that you express. Because most of the time, when you're allowing other people to judge you in a way that keeps you from allowing you to just be yourself or make a decision based on how you truly feel about it, or doing what a person who loves themselves would do, that is the only time that you will not be in your power, and you will not be able to use your life force the way that it's meant to be used. Do you have any questions for me that you would like to ask while I am here today?
Directly, Jay, man, I haven't heard some of that story, and some of the stuff that you've gone through. We haven't gone through that in the last 12 months that we've known each other. It's because it's coming
Yeah.
right around 12 months.
Yes.
But I think one thing that I'd love to share with everybody is Jay doesn't give himself a pile of credit, but I'm going to give it all to him right now. In the loss of sight, I truly believe that the universe brought him a gift to be more intuitive. He wasn't supposed to rely on sight to be able to help people. He was supposed to rely on that intuition, that energy that people bring around him, so that he can share something that they may not ever feel. Because our experiences, when we can visually see the fears, when we can visually see the dangers that are around us on a day-to-day basis, our perspectives are entirely different than something that Jay goes through on a day-to-day basis. Jay is a part of this, 1,000% a part of this, because I believe that is one of the strongest things he brings to the table. He's brought it to my life. I talk to Jay regularly, and it's little insights about my nuances. I'm a Capricorn, and we talk about the powers of that and the dangers of that.
Yes.
And I think it's very important for people to understand. If you haven't looked back into astrology signs or anything, have a peek, see what you think. Because it's incredible when you start to learn about yourself, and it does bring some of that stuff out towards you, just to say, hey, this is a trait, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. You're going to want to deal with it.
Yes.
Or it's going to take over whether you like it or not. And I think through being able to chat with you, Jay, over the year, and really get in depth in some of these conversations, I've really got to learn that, I'm going to say, naturally through my journey, I've actually conquered some of those big, dirty, nasty darknesses that appear within a chart reading or something like that, that will pop up and you're like, that's not me.
Right.
I'm nowhere near that. But one day you were. When you were at your darkest moment, that is the person you never want to imagine that you were.
Yes.
But what it shows you is it's your internal you. It's just who you are. You have to learn from those mistakes that are your tendencies. We all have those natural tendencies. Some of them are very positive, and some of them can be powerfully negative when used in the wrong direction.
Yes.
And that is one of the coolest things that I've been able to been brought to my attention, been a part of, and really looked into, because it's changed the way I perceive the world. It changed the way I look at myself and the way I reacted at things a year ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, today.
Yes.
These reactions come because somebody's able to help you see it differently. The perspectives Jay can give anyone, because he can't see as well as we can. He's got another gift that he's had to reach into. And I'm not even going to say it, it's a gift. You've worked for it. You've had to go there. You've had to create those skills. And you understood that and you took it. And I think that's one of the most powerful things when we're talking about releasing the shackles.
Yes.
You can't release the fact that you can't see. You can't just go, oh, I'm going to break my shackles open and one day I can see again. We're not going to drink that root beer and go, hey, I could see. It just doesn't work that way. But the way you've spun your life, the way you've embraced your life, and the way you want to educate and let others feel and be able to change for their powers and change for their greater good has just been absolutely remarkable. So, Jay, I just want to say thank you for everything that you brought today, for sharing your story, and for being a part of this, because it meant a lot to me to have you here with me. We've been working together for a long time, chatting back and forth, and it was incredible to have you a part of this. And I just thank you very much for being a part of this and sharing your story to the depths that you did.
Yes, you're welcome. I went in as much as I could. I know if there's anyone here who would like to speak with me, they can. And I'm going to continue to do this because, I don't have sight, so I don't, live the regular normal life and do all the things that people with sight can do. But when I get to connect with people and help people heal and find out who they truly are and tell them more about themselves that anyone else has ever told them, that's a joy for me.
And it's your internal superpower, my friend, and keep doing it. Keep gracing everybody with that, because you're impacting, you're changing people's lives, and that's what it's all about. Giving people that hope to be able to create their best life ahead of us. And that is powerful.
Yeah.
Thank you, my friend, and we'll chat again soon.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
We are going